Welcome everyone to ECH meeting 33. I'm Pooja and I am sharing the agenda in chat right now. I'm very happy to share the news that the Ethereum cat herder is now attracting more community interest to participate and contribute to the Ethereum ecosystem. Early in 2020, our team members, Helena, Tim, William, they did a workshop at ETH Paris, which was followed by a blog from William on how one can contribute as a cat herder. Now that we have started receiving interest, some of our team members been approached by people on Twitter, Gitter showing interest to contribute. So this is an open meeting for anyone and everyone to join. So the first agenda item is based on that, the introduction to the new community members, but I don't see members joining in, so we might want to skip it and we'll go to the next item.
At least they're on the group, so maybe they'll participate in the note or the chat session.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like the people have dropped some comments on our previous agenda item, saying that we are interested, we would want to know how we can participate. That's really good to know that people are now showing interest, and we have been successful in our first goal of the roadmap, that we should be reaching out to more community members to inviting participation to the Ethereum ecosystem. Unfortunately, I do not see Sachin and Angela on the call, which is for the next item. We had a discussion some time back. The next item is ECH update Substack mailing. On this topic, Angela and Sachin, they showed me some presentation. They showed that what they would want to do with the ECH Substack mailing list. The initial idea was to capture more than the just sharing the meeting notes link, the highlights of every meeting. They are considering 4 initial meetings: the All Core Dev, the EIP, ETH2, and the Ethereum stateless meeting that goes on. So taking up highlights from that and running them through a newsletter. I would wait for them to join us in the next meeting and give us more update, or maybe a walkthrough how they would want to execute it in detail. Anybody has any question or any suggestion on this topic before we move on?
No, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, so thank you, Tim. Let's just move on to the next item. It's 1559 design bounty. Tim has organized this 1559 first call, on which there was discussion on this particular EIP as well as another EIP to consider which one is the best, or maybe if we can come up with a solution with that. I would invite Tim to speak more on it. So the ECH is just planning to design, or maybe kind of facilitate the bounty for the application. Tim, would you like to throw more light on that?
Sure. I mean, yeah, there's 2 proposals for 1559. There's 1559 and there's a kind of counter proposal, and they both have kind of a different UX. So the goal would be to have to try and find a hackathon we can pair with, where we can offer this bounty for people to make mock-ups of what the transaction flows would look like under each EAP. And award the bounty to the best one, and this will just allow kind of people in the community to see what the impacts of this will be on wallets. So I think we're gonna do a Moloch DAO request, yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably the best way to go about the fundings. I'm not sure yet about like which hackathon we could pair this with. If people have any ideas of things that are coming up in like the next month or two, that would be great. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Just to add on that, we were in discussion with Trent from at the Global, and he has showed a good interest in getting it participated in one of the major events, maybe upcoming events. So we are in touch with him and would be doing that. In the meantime, we would want to let people know about this design bounty. And for that, I have added this on the Ethereum cat herder website. So let me just share the link here. So this is the details of the doc that I have been maintaining, where we keep on adding new stuff. That's one. And if we can just log into the Ethereum cat herders website, I have added some resources related to this, both of these EIPs, so that it should be helpful for people to actually know what this is all about. They would want to, you know, kind of educate themselves. If there is some kind of feedback that they would want to provide it to the PRs that are already available on the GitHub would be useful. Any thoughts on this? Like this is the thing that I would want to do it for every other initiative we the cat herders are doing. Is it a good idea to keep it on the website and maybe come up with a blog to share more information about it? Any thoughts on that?
I think that's both a good idea.
Yeah, how many people visit the website?
I'm not sure many people as of now, but I'm just trying to fill it up first, and then trying to share the website with every communication that we are doing. Earlier, we were just sharing the Gitter channel, so I'm not very much sure of the traffic of it. But yes, of course, I'll look into that as well.
I guess, and the reason I'm asking is I feel like maybe like our Medium is enough. Like I'm not sure we even need the website. Like if we like, obviously I can see like all these things being like good kind of blog posts. But yeah, I guess I'd be curious to see how much value there is in actually maintaining the website versus just having the Medium account.
Yeah, I am actually open to both. Like, I mean, this is a good suggestion because this also takes some of our time. We have to put some effort to, you know, maintain this website. So if we find
Yeah.
it is like not actually useful and not doing that, then we would want to take it back. But
yeah, I guess I'm just curious. Like, I mean, yeah, it's because it does seem like a lot of work sometimes. So yeah, if like not many people are using it, maybe we're better off with just Medium. But yeah, obviously we'd want the data for this.
yeah, that's right. Okay, we might want to assess it maybe after a couple of months. We'll get back to each thing, because this thing I just have started previous month, right? After this herder in chief and all these things. So I just started working on this. It's just a month, so we'll see. Maybe reassess
Yep.
it after 2-3 months.
Sounds good.
Thank you. So moving, anything more on this design bounty? Anybody has any questions on it? Okay. The next item is events and conferences, and on that is Consensus 2020 event participation. So I'm very happy to announce that we have actually a very decent amount of participation from Ethereum side, and cat herders were able to facilitate this participation. We have good mix of core developers to the projects, to the protocols, and Tim and Hudson are participating from the cat herders side. And if you guys have any thoughts on that, they have this presentation tomorrow.
Yeah, in that presentation, we'll be discussing the Berlin hard fork, ETH1X, Ethereum cat herders, EIPIP, and I think I'm missing one. What's the other one? cat herders, EIP, Berlin, ETH1X, oh, and Enterprise Ethereum.
Yeah, that's the
So,
one.
so we're spending about 2 minutes each on those, 1 to 3 minutes each on those, I guess, and then taking questions afterwards. So that is tomorrow at sometime between 9 and 10 a.m. East. 10 and 11 a.m. Eastern, I think.
Yeah, it's 10. I mean, maybe around 10:30 because we have two presentations before that. So the 10 to 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is the slot for Ethereum that cat herders have done. And there is a blog out on Ethereum cat herders Medium listing all those projects which are participating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on. The next topic is cat herders funding through ecosystem support program and Mulak DAO. On these two topics, we had meeting with the ecosystem support program, I think 2 weeks back. They are yet to revert back with their decision. And we might want to follow up again on what's going on there. In the meantime, we have decided to reach out to Mulak DAO as well for funding. There is a document created for the proposal for Mulak DAO as well. And maybe this week or maybe that the coming week, we will be, creating submitting this Mulak grant proposal for the funding for the next year. And yeah, that's it from that, because we have to do two proposals to the Mulak DAO grant. One is for that EIP 1559 design bounty, and this is for cat herders. So we are just thinking that we should do it on like separate weeks or maybe separate dates so that there should not be any more confusion and, try to avoid any kind of miscommunication there. So that's on this topic.
Did we hear back from the ESP?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm planning to email them again saying that what are the decisions, because I remember they said that they would give us something on the email itself. They did not ask for any further meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So the next item is promotion and positioning in Ethereum community. It's about the community promotion ad on Stack Exchange. So Edson shared some images that could be placed there. And I'm not sure, there was some voting going on. I'm not sure about the results of the voting, and I don't see Edson here as well. Maybe it's better off to wait for him. Who just joined? Angela. Okay. So yeah, I think Angela has joined us. We would like to hear more on the topic of ECH update Substack mailing. Angela, would you want to take it over on that?
Yeah, sure. So regarding that, Sachana and I had a discussion with Pooja last week, or I think it was the previous week. So we discussed that the content would be around just the calls that are happening, the developer calls. And so we summarized, like there was a draft ready, but I still haven't finalized the draft. So would be sharing in the group by tomorrow, most probably. So on a very high level, it'll have pointers to the developer calls that have happened in the previous 2 weeks. So the calls that we discussed were EIP-IP, ECH, not ECH, sorry, EIP-IP, ACD, and the other call was, I'm forgetting the name. So basically, developer. I'm sorry, what?
Stateless Ethereum.
Yeah, exactly, the stateless Ethereum one. So for that, I'll be needing some resources from Pooja or whoever is the participant in that call. So yeah, and ETH 2.0 as well. So these 3 to 4 calls mainly, and just pointers and certain links to the resources. So this was the main idea behind the newsletter, and any suggestions are welcome for this. So the first draft that I'll be sharing would include like some really old meetings, just so we can finalize on the structure. And once it looks good enough, we can go ahead with publishing this, uh, and we'll be publishing more as and when the calls are happening. So, and as for the timeline, what was finalized was that this should happen twice in a month, so that it can cover most of the calls. But again, that is also a very loose timeline. We can also discuss upon that as well. So if there are any suggestions regarding this, I'd be happy to take them.
I think it's a great idea, and I think like one thing you should probably try to do is just link the transcripts when they're available. So like if you give like a quick summary and say, oh, for the full notes, you know, click here. Because I know like for the stateless Ethereum calls, there's obviously transcripts, and then Griffin at the EF writes like blog posts. I think for obviously for all the other calls, we have our full transcripts. So I think yeah, just linking those at the end is probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, definitely we'll be doing that. And also, I was wondering, what is the best group to share the first draft at? Should I be sharing on our Gitter channel only, or on the Telegram group? Like, what should be the best place?
The Telegram group, I think you have just been added by Sachin over there. That's a very good place. I mean, you can share it there and people can give feedback to you.
Okay, awesome. So I'll be sharing then whenever the first draft is ready.
Sure. Thank you so much for update, Angela. So moving on, I'm sorry, we jumped back to the previous item, but now moving on to agenda item number 7. It's the EIP-IP survey and other updates. So the EIP-IP blog is out, and Edson is collecting the feedbacks. He is planning to come up with a final result of that. Is not here to provide input, unfortunately, but I hope to get something more on that very soon. Coming up to the next item is
before we move on to that, can I just jump in there? I did the notes on the EIP-IP meeting, and a lot of the discussion focused on governance and different tools to be used in governance. And you know, Brent and I didn't want to jump in and talk canonizer because we didn't want to, you know, sort of try to pitch that. But in that discussion, it became very clear that a lot of the things that the survey was asking for in terms of ways to find governance tools, that's something that we would want to, that Canonizer absolutely has the tools to be able to do. And so I'm just curious if there's some kind of formal way that we can prepare some kind of a presentation or something else where we could outline that and present that to the community as an option to be able to do the kinds of things that the survey is finding that the community is looking to do. Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I don't know if there's a formal way exactly. There's very often not formal ways in Ethereum.
Right.
But I would say that the approach I would take is to set up a canonizer topic on something that might be more controversial or something that needs to be decided on with pros and cons, like EIP 1559, since it has 2 different proposals, and talk to the EIP 1559 group if they're interested in utilizing that, and also post it on Reddit and Twitter. And that's all I can think of as far as the reach for if you're wanting to show off a tool to the community. But it's going to be hard to get buy-in just because people are reticent to use a new tool.
Right. Well, I mean, on Discord, for instance, somebody's pitching a tool called True Story that has kind of been abandoned, but wants to bring it back because he thinks it can do all of the things that the governance needs to do. And you know, so there are different pitches that are happening in different places. So I think that's good advice. And we'll try to do that. And I know Pooja had listed a canonizer topic in the blog post, and I think that's been helpful. But we're just looking at this. One of the reasons why canonizer was established was to do the kinds of things that were talked about at the EIP-IP meeting. So I appreciate the direction there a little bit in terms of where we can pitch this, but you're right, getting buy-in is going to be difficult.
Yep.
Yeah, everything they mentioned in that EIP meeting, like getting everyone on the same page, what is that page, who's not on the same page, and tracking all that, doing it asynchronously, almost everything they mentioned in there, Canonizer's designed to do exactly all those things. But anyway, we've probably taken up too much time, so thanks.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks. That was really helpful. I mean, anything that we are trying to do here is to support community, to help out and try to mitigate the issues that are existing in the ecosystem. So that's been helpful. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Brent. Moving on to the next topic is a Berlin upgrade. The PR to Berlin Meta is still there. I don't see any changes there. But another thing that we did, that we talked last time was about the client status tracking. So I have updated the website sharing that we can track the client status here, and that redirects to this Excel sheet that I have just shared in the chat. I mean, like I have tried to add the status based on the all core dev call and would be updating it. Do people have other thoughts, like maintaining it here is something okay, or do we want to put it on GitHub or maybe on the website or something else?
Let's bring it up in the next core dev meeting for sure, and make sure they know that we're taking ownership of this, and maybe help get James Hancock to help, since he's going to be on top of who's implemented and who's tested and all that. So it doesn't have to entirely be on our plate.
Sure, I'm gonna share this with him after this meeting, and yes, we can bring it up in the all core dev call. I mean, like for Besu, I can request Tim, if you see that if there is any inconsistency or if there is any update, please just leave it as a comment or let me know. I'll update that. I'll keep on updating based on the call every time.
Sounds good.
Okay, so that's about it. EIP's curation, we did not did it for Berlin Meta, but I did it for 1559, which is already available on the ECH website for now. The next item here is ECH GitHub issues and PR. But before we move on to that, do we have any other thing related to Berlin that cat herders can do, or something is missing? I don't see much changes on the accepted EIP so far, so I have kept it like that only. So cool. So moving on to the next item is discuss and close the ECH GitHub issues and PRs. I see quite a few open for funding. On funding part, I have submitted that issue as that we discussed in some times back in one or two of the calls. As just like time charged, but I have not requested for any funding there. Just to keep it official, to keep a record of that, I have added it over there. I hope it is fine. And if it should not be there, okay.
I think it's good. Yeah.
I'm just keeping it for the record purpose. We'll figure out when we get funding from any of the ecosystem support program or the MOLAC or anywhere else. I see a new request for Zoom account renewal. On this topic, like in the previous meeting, we discussed about adding me to the multisig, or maybe I would be able to help out with this, payout and everything else. Would you want to discuss a progress on that or something?
I think we should use the multi-sig for the Zoom, personally, but I'm open to other opinions.
Yeah, why not?
And I need to put all the money back because I still have all the money. And so that needs to go into the new Gnosis multi-sig or the old one. I think we should put it in the new one that I created. But I'm going to talk to the multi-sig channel today about that and see what people think.
Sure.
Yeah, and maybe, yeah, okay, so put it all in the new one, and then if we can pay out, I guess there's like the 6 open funding issues, because some of them are like 3 weeks old now.
Yeah, definitely. Let's make that a priority for sure.
Okay. So yeah, let me know, Hudson, when you've done the multi-sig stuff, and then I'll approve all the transactions.
Okay, sounds good. And we also need to add Puja there because we decided to do that before, but let's pay everything out first.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. So moving on, the next item is review of the previous ECH meeting. Before we get into the review of that, I quickly wanted to bring up the topic of meeting notes. Like recently we observed some discussion on ACD Getter and in the meeting around the imprecise capture of decision in the summary section. Though my personal take on that was like it was because of that particular item being so political, the reason this topic was so stretched. I did the change to seize the discussion, but in order to minimize this kind of occurrence in future, any such incidents in future, I would like to invite thoughts on this topic. I mean, it is the primary task that is being performed by the cat-headed group, so it's better to be the best. Do people have thoughts on the format that we are trying to use, like highlighting action item decisions to capture the summary of the meeting? Like, should we keep on doing it the same way we are doing, or maybe we would add some other subheads like proposals, discussion, or what else can be done to improve this?
I think what's useful for me when I read the notes is when like there's even just like links to stuff that's being discussed, right? Like, so say that during a call they were discussing this EIP. If there's a link to where the discussion starts about that EIP, I know some of the notes tend to have that, and that's really valuable. I think all the action items and the like summaries at the top are also quite valuable. Yeah. Overall, I think they're good. And the other thing we mentioned in the past is just like the speed at which the notes are done, I think is another important factor. Like if we can get them done quick, that's also valuable for the community.
That's right. Like we discussed that we should be doing it within 3 to 5 days. 3 days are ideal, and if they marks for 5 days, we could not get the previous ACD call. So Edson volunteered to finish it before the call this week. But yes, that is another thing that we should consider. So is it something like, I mean, can we request the moderator of the meeting to be concluding that item before moving on to any other item, like saying what is the action item or maybe decision to be, because note takers may not be that technical. It's very important.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, well, I could say as a note taker, that would be very helpful if there could just be a quick review of what the action items are, rather than trying to get the note taker to go in and distill what those action items are from the conversation.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be at the end. Whenever someone, like for example, we just came across Hudson's action item to move at the end of that discussion, if someone could summarize, okay, Hudson has an action item to move the fund back into the multi-sig, or kind of summarize things like that, that would help.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And Pooja, I think I interrupted you a second ago. What were you saying?
Yeah, no worries. I mean, like it was the same. I mean, I was just thinking like we have a particular cadence of items to be discussed in the meeting. And before we move on to the next topic or next agenda item, if we could just conclude it, like somebody, maybe the person who is speaking for that item, or maybe the moderator, just conclude it for the note takers, that would be super helpful for us.
One thing that is an idea that we might want to iterate on when we get more funding is paying someone less than the note taker, but someone to review, like rewatch it and reread the notes for like maybe half the cost of what a note taker would do.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, like generally we do that. We do this peer doing, like I do it for all code for, I mean, all the meetings, and I have seen Edson doing that. So we do it internally, but if somebody from the developer side are interested and may they have the bandwidth to do that, that would be super helpful. And if for funding is there, that is another like way of inviting more participants to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Pooja's been great for fixing a lot of things we missed in our early note.
Yeah. I mean, like I have seen Edson also doing that quite a few times, and I always do that for almost every notes that we come across, maybe on through the personal Telegram channel or maybe through the meeting notes getter, but yes, we do that. Okay, so moving on to the next item, it was the review action item from the previous meeting of the CAT hurdles. It seems to be a long list of it, so I'm gonna just quickly go through it one by one. 32.1 says that we have to move it to 515 EIP from other proposed to tentatively. It has been done. 32.2, Tim to come up with a write-up on EIP 2046 over the weekend. I saw some messages around that, Tim.
Oh, I didn't know I actually had to do 2046. I thought, like last time when I posted, I thought we would try to aggregate the write-ups by the community, and then if there aren't any, we write up like a short couple lines when the upgrade goes live.
Yeah, I'm very much to this decision. Like instead of just writing up like whatever is missing, we can add up, and otherwise curation is a better approach to meet. Okay, so we can take this off.
Yeah.
The next item is Pooja to come up with a draft for postmortem report for Berlin upgrade. I have been working on it and it's almost done. I may be able to share it this week or maybe early next week with the group to have the initial review. The next item is Hedson and Edson to reach out to EIP editors for survey.
Yeah, I think most of them did the survey, but we need to talk to Edson.
Okay.
And then, yeah, keep going.
Yeah, the next item is Pooja and Edson to work on the bounty for Eth2 note taking to follow up with Danny and one-time payout tracking this thing. So this Eth2 note taking bounty has been paid off so far as per Scott, but there was one small, some confusion or something went wrong. On my end, I'm in touch with Scott for that, but I would like to let other people know if they have some issues, just let us know. Because what happened that we received the email that you have been tipped for that, but the bounty was actually not transferred to the wallet. So if anybody else sees this kind of discrepancy, please let us know and we'll try to get it fixed with Scott. And he wanted to come join us in this meeting to let us know what are the, process in general that we should be following to receive this bounty. But unfortunately, he could not make it for this meeting today. And I'm in touch with him. He proposed for Wednesday, but I know Wednesday is super tight for most of the people because of the consensus meet. So I'm checking like if he would be available for next week or maybe to the next meeting. We'll update everyone on the channel. The next item is Hudson to create an account named Ethereum on Twitch for streaming events and community calls.
I emailed Twitch asking that they do some takedowns of people impersonating Ethereum on Twitch, and also asking that we be given the name Ethereum because it's already been registered by someone else. So I'm still waiting for that. If it's not here by the end of the week, I'll send a second more forceful email.
Okay. Okay, the next item is Pooja to reach out to James to keep the status of EIPs and ECH website accurate and current. I just have updated the website yesterday. I'll be reaching out to James today, and we'll make sure that whatever list we are creating on the website, as well as in this Excel sheet about the clients, individual clients, that should be updated. I'll get in touch with James. The next is aggregate medium articles that we just discussed. Next agenda item is decide a new time allocation for projects in Consensus 2020. We did that. This was a big battle for us. I mean, there was a lot of confusion from like more than 3 hours to 1 hour. And then we came up with the 2 hour slots, and that's like kind of tight on that, but yes, we did it. Now we have 6 projects representing Ethereum, and it's a good thing. I'm very happy about it. Okay, so the next item is Sachin to ask Scott more about Ethereum node fundings. It's been done. Vote on which banner to add for the Ethereum Stack Exchange by Monday. I have seen many people have already voted. Those who have not voted, please go ahead and vote on the document that was shared by Edson to select which one should go for the Stack Exchange.
Does someone have the link handy for that vote? I don't think I know where that is.
I don't have it here, but I can.
Oh, I have it. I can send it.
Well, thanks.
Clickly. Yeah, here I got it.
Okay. So moving on, the ECH website to be updated with balanced proc power resources. I've kind of added the resources for proc power plus the voting platforms. I see there are 3 platforms that I'm aware of, but if anybody is aware of any other resources or any other platform or any other discussion forum where discussion is going around proc power, feel free to add to the document that we have created to keep our website updated, and I'll update it here on the website.
When do we want to take down the ProgPow stuff? Like, I feel, I don't know, like from the past call, there was like some consensus that people definitely don't want this on mainnet. So yeah, I guess I'm just curious how long we want to leave this up.
I think Greg had asked for about a month, and I don't think it hurts to leave it up.
Sounds good.
Okay. So moving on, the next item is decide which version of Gnosis safe to use. I think Hudson is already working on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. And,
So just for, so have we decided, or is that still going to be decided, or?
Going to be decided today.
Okay.
So you can keep it on the agenda for next time. And by then we'll have a decision and a movement from that.
Cool, thanks.
okay, and the last item is finalized decision on adding Puja to multisig. I think it will be dependent on this, the version of Gnosis safe, and that will be done.
Yeah, I think we already decided to add you, didn't we?
Yeah, in the previous meeting, but I mean, like, I'm not added yet, so that would be done.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So that's all about the pending action items from the previous meeting. And now we have reached to the almost to the end of the meeting, and the final item is any other business. So anybody has anything else to discuss here?
Yeah, me and Edson have been working on the YouTube takedowns for things that are sites that are being scam or impersonating the Ethereum Foundation or the Ethereum brand to scam people. That is going along okay. We've done 50 takedown requests, and 21 to 24 of them have been taken down. The others
cool.
are unknown, or they have explicitly said they're not violating anything. The worst offenders, for the most part, have been taken down. The ones that were like, ooh, here's a giveaway and stuff like that. Those seem to have been taken down for the most part. Other ones could pop up, obviously, but we're just going to keep note on that and wait for YouTube to come back to us on certain things.
That's really great. And I'm super surprised by knowing more than 50.
Yeah, there's at least 50. Now, not all of them are scams. Some of them just use the logo name or something to make it look like they're an official site, but they have no videos.
Good. Good to know that. I mean, thank you, Hudson and Hudson, for that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that's all about it. We are 16 minutes early. So if anybody,
Hooray.
Tim, you mentioned, can someone take or link the funding issues? What exactly do you mean
Oh,
by?
sorry, I found them. I was just looking for the funding repo to see how many outstanding issues there were. I found it. No worries.
Oh, okay, cool.
okay, so if that's all about it, then we are good to go for today.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. All the best, Hudson and Tim.
Yeah.
Right. We will.
Thank you so much for representing us.
Yeah, no problem. It'll be fun tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll
Thanks,
see
everybody.
you
Bye.
guys, everybody, in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.